Angela Merkel has won Germany's top job again, but the landslide victory is overshadowed by some tough coalition choices. The Conservative bloc, Christian Democrats, took 41.5% of the vote, and that's not enough support for Merkel's party to rule on their own, as their main rivals, the Social Democrats, led by Peter Steinbrück, came in with 25.7%. A coalition between the two will be hard to reach. RT's Peter Oliver has more now from Berlin.
Well, it was a resounding result for Angela Merkel. However, now the big question is just what kind of government will she preside over? She's going to have to enter into a coalition that won't be the coalition she particularly wanted. She would have wanted to deal with the Free Democrats, who were her partners going into this election. But the Free Democrats didn't even get enough votes to get them one seat in the parliament. So she's going to have some tough coalition negotiations on her hands. Moving away from Angela Merkel and looking at the election as a whole, what we have seen here in Germany is a shift in voter opinion away from liberal politics towards Eurosceptic politics. The Alternative for Germany party, the AfD, were only founded 7 months ago. The Eurosceptics didn't get past the 5% mark to get them into the Bundestag, but they have certainly announced their arrival on the German political stage. Now, as I said, they're Eurosceptic, they're anti-Euro. They believe that the Euro is being kept alive artificially, and they want to see failing countries like Greece not be allowed to be part of the monetary union. Now, they took votes from just about everybody, as well as protest votes, people unhappy with the current status quo in Germany. Their leader, Bernd Lucke, saying that although they didn't get into the parliament, they put fear into the hearts of the other parties, and that they'd made democracy in Germany all the richer. So it's Angela Merkel who's going to be German Chancellor for a third term. That'll make her the longest-serving female political leader in Europe. But some of those Europeans are wondering what exactly she'll have in store for them.
4 more years. Angela Merkel's election win has seen comparisons drawn with another 3-term female leader.
Merkel is a follower of Margaret Thatcher. This is Thatcherism 2.0, Merkelism.
One similarity in policies between the two is that both pushed privatisation, although in Mrs. Merkel's case, that's not been at home, but in cash-strapped Eurozone states.
We have this obvious privatization agenda that is an essential feature of European politics. It's not people and social needs that get addressed, but business.
Angela Merkel supported the decision by Portugal to sell off some of its publicly owned companies.
It's not clear sometimes whether what she is proposing for other countries, she will do it itself in Germany. It's natural that some countries would question whether the calls for privatization in their countries is a way to open room for German companies or other companies to buy in those countries.
Angela Merkel has convinced the German people that she's the right person for the job, but across Europe, people are wondering what 4 more years of her leadership will mean for them.
It's going to be negative. That's logical. She's the symbol of the recession in Europe.
Nothing will change for us. When we get more jobs and people have work, then we can have growth. I don't expect anything from the Germans.
Merkel's critics accuse her of pushing Europe in the wrong direction.
Merkel must be stopped, as well as those who only represent the interests of international finance markets. Just like under Thatcher, parts of northern England were left devastated. We see the same in Greece today. It leads to years of unemployment and poor living conditions.
Whether she's the new Iron Lady or not, we're set for 4 more years of Angela Merkel as the world's most powerful woman. Peter Oliver, RT, Germany.
The Alternative for Germany party was founded less than a year ago and has already drawn 16,000 members to its ranks. And as German journalist Manuel Oxenreiter says, a crisis in the country's politics is laying the ground for a rise in non-mainstream parties.
We have a huge party nobody's talking about, and this is the party of the non-voters. Almost 1/3 of the Germans didn't participate at the elections, we see that this so-called huge majority for the CDU and for Angela Merkel is not anymore so huge when we take into account that so many people are not represented in our parliament. And this is a sign of a crisis. This is a sign of a crisis also of democracy in Germany. And it's time for alternative parties. It is time for parties who speak out what those people think and what those people mean. And they don't want to elect always, let me say it like this, the less evil. They want to vote for a party they can support by their heart. And so I think, yes, it's time for alternative parties, and as, for example, the Alternative für Deutschland.